Good evening and welcome to the Hot Seat tonight, where we host pundits and journalists to discuss topical issues of the day. My name is Derek Wandera. I have a big panel in studio, very experienced journalists and pundits to discuss topical issues for this week. Quite a lot has happened within this week, but before we go to that, I just want to tell you that the Saturday Monitor is already on your streets. You can go and get yourself a copy at 2,000 shillings and with headlines and very, very nice in-depth written stories. Kadaga among stay deadlocked is the big headline right there. That race is something that we're going to be discussing tonight. And there's quite a lot about arts and some of the districts that some of the races that are happening in whichever, and there is a profile of Rukunjiri race where Sam Mugumya, formerly FDC, who had been abducted in DRC, came back now. He has gone to stand on the PFF ticket, but I also see Ingrid Turinawe also in the same, and I know that's going to be a very, very big race right there. Why Uganda's minerals don't reach its people. That and more, you can get it in the Saturday Monitor, which is already on your streets this evening. My name is Derek Wandera. I'm going to be the host for this show. I have Dismas Nkunda, very veteran journalist. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Derek.
I have Jimmy Achelam, very, very, very regular on this show from the civil society. Welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And the government spokesperson, Obed Katurebe.
No, I'm not a government spokesperson. I'm just the acting executive director, Uganda Media Center.
Welcome to the show. Welcome, gentlemen. We want to, but in the coming days, I should be bringing in a lady, because this thing of hearing only deep hoarse voices is something that it should have a soothing one, at least one of the days.
That is how the show is made.
I know. And I think the old man just intended to bring only gentlemen, but I'm going to bring and entice a lady. However, we want to discuss the biggest elephant in the room for this week. We have had quite many topics that have run. Not to forget Uganda Cranes, that's going to be playing tomorrow in the quarterfinals of the CHAN, that is African Championships. I have just seen that Madagascar and Kenya have just tied a 1-0 draw, and they have to go into extra time. That game is still ongoing. We also have a very, very big topic that has happened about the Nachivubo channel, where the president passed an order to have Hamis Chigundu, a business man in Kampala, to develop that channel. But I know that it has come with a lot of backlash from KCCA, from all developers and city planners, all bashing that decision. Also, the ongoing SEC elections for the NRM. I think it's now about 6 days to go for that election to happen. And looking at the headline today of the Daily Monitor, Kadaga among stay deadlocked, and that is one of the highlights. That's one of the highlights that we have in this race, where these two are contesting against each other for the Central Executive Committee National Vice Chairperson female position in there. I want to begin with you, Obed. How is the NRM making sure that this turns out to be a fruitful but also peaceful election, as we see many jabs flying from all sides of the aisle?
Well, interesting jabs have indeed flown. There were meetings chaired by Tango Doi to try to come the competing individuals to try to tame their language and stay civil. To the extent that they've stayed civil, the public is there to judge. But a bit of it, everything has to come to an end. Days are near, and it will be, I think, again it will be. These will be ballot boxes.
Yes.
The voting will take place, and everything will be determined by the vote come 28th, when they will convene in Kororo. The party seems to have done some good preparations. I think the 1 year too long spent in China studying the Communist Party and how, forget about the ideology and how they do their things. But in terms of being thorough in organization and whatever, you don't take it away from those Chinese. Being thorough in organizing and perfecting the whole process of arranging certain things. So they seem to be really prepared and on top of their game. So we wait to see the big stories, and especially among the two women from the East.
The two women and the biggest women from the East have locked horns, and we are seeing a lot coming from there. Language has been one of the things that has been very critical in this race, that everyone is pelting a word against the other. Dismas, you have covered the NRM, you have seen NRM from its inception. What do you think is going to be unique about this particular race?
The original NRM was a party that was much more about consensus. It was just about consensus, people agreeing, lining up, and then candidates were not competing because there were advantages that would accrue to them simply because they are members of the NRA. You'd rather say that people who are much more concerned were people either who are going in the Constituent Assembly or people who are becoming members of Parliament. But it has now become very lucrative to be a member of the Central Executive Committee to the level that now it has overshadowed even some of the members of Parliament election. If you see the contestation between the two, Kadaga and Among, and the nice words they have been exchanging, it just
euphemism. You're using euphemism.
I don't want to use the bad words like that, but you can give us some snippets of what they are those words that they used against each other, which is not right, because these are people really whom you might say that they are elders.
Yes.
I mean, a person like Kadaga wouldn't think that at her age and her knowledge and her understanding
could go that native.
Yeah, could go that native. I know Kadaga from when she was still a person running her own law firm, Kadaga and Katuntu Company Advocates here in Kitgum House. So to the level that she has been, all the different functions she has held under NRM, so she understands. But of course, even Anita Mong, Triple A hasn't also been. She also has her own jobs. She has her own communication group that has been taking the jobs a little bit harder. So I was not surprised that I think there was a meeting that was held in which they produced the final list of the people who are supposed to be standing on the different positions and it was actually both of them,
yes.
Kadaga and Among. So since it's a secret ballot, that gives us hope that maybe we might get, if it was lining up, would have had a different story as compared to what happened in the what they call it, the Kamyufu.
Yes. The primaries.
The primaries. So to that extent, but for me, I honestly don't think that taking jabs on each other, for me, is not a problem. If you want to become a person and you are evolving yourself in politics, please expect the outcome of what you have gone for. And if you don't know how to counter the people who are jabbing you, then if you lose, it's up to you. So let them jab each other as long as at the end we get the right person for the right job.
Jimmy, these jabs have not just started this in this election. We saw the jabs that were thrown between the Honorable Kadaga and Persis Namuganza in the last election for the same position. And we are seeing the same happening with the Honorable Anita Mong and the Honorable Kadaga. Do you think this seat is that, and what makes it that very highly competitive? and what's the uniqueness with that it comes with?
So this was just talked about it being very lucrative. I don't know in what sense. Sometimes it's just the position. Maybe they are the top ruling, organ of the party. So it might be about access and interaction with the chairman of the party. But other than that, I don't know why it would be that why it would be the contest would be very fierce like that.
Maybe to add why it is such a lucrative position. Most of the decisions or policy guidelines of how NIM will proceed, or even positions to occupy which positions, they are determined by SEC. For example, Anita Mong knows that should become the next speaker. It is SEC that sits and says, the Speaker of Parliament is this one, the deputy should be this one. So she wants to be there.
But can't you be there in SEC and then you if things are done by, you are overruled, and it's not necessarily that if you're in SEC then you will be guaranteed a certain position.
Yeah, because we've seen Kadaga is in SEC, but she's not speaker, and yet she sat in the SEC that decided who becomes speaker. So what are the for especially this position of the Eastern? I don't know what happens with the Eastern. I'm just going to go through this list of the people who have been placed in different positions as the elections go. The national chairman, of course, is His Excellency General Retired Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and of course the NRM presidential candidate is the same. The first national vice chairperson is Alhaji Mose Chigongo. Second national vice chairperson, of course, women, there are two, and that is Right Honorable Rebecca Litwala Kadaga and the Right Honorable Anita Mong. The Vice Chairperson Northern Region, there is Daniel Fred Chidega, Obua Hamson, and Sam Ngola. Right there, very big and pragmatic names. It's another very hot one. And the Vice Chairperson for Karamoja Region, there is Kalisa. Sorry. Kalisa to be in Karamoja. Sorry, it's a Loki John Baptist. There is Achila John Robert Rex, John Ngorok, Loki Abraham. Very new names, not very, very common in the public domain. But we go to the central. There is, of course, Kalisa Kalangwa Moses. There is Cheswa Hakim. There is Sewava Mukasa Joseph Semakula, my very good friend there. Chiwanda Godfrey Suvi and Cheyune Kasulu. When we go to the vice chairperson for Kampala region, there is Maraha Katongole Singh, there is Salim Sadu Huru, there is Serugo Sadat, Bukenya Collins Andrew. And when we go to the vice chairperson Eastern, we have Mariam Naigaga, Mike Mukula, and Echodu. David Calvin. For Vice Chairperson Western Region, an avalanche of them. There are about 8 of them. There is Wenje, Leuben Muhanji, Asimwe Jonad, Kamugisha Blaze. There is Kamganga Dick Nwamanya, Biaruhanga Barije Enoch, Atohe Innocent, Mawanda Michael Maranga, and Chris Bariomunsi. That's how the lineup is. And you see that most of these regions have quite big names, and there are those regions that do not have any big name coming out, not so big in sense of like the public domain and stuff like that. But Obed, what makes that woman's seat very, very competitive in your view?
For the second vice and stuff like
yes.
that. But like I said, 2 things. SEC is becoming a little bit the main policy generating organ before everything even goes to cabinet.
Yes.
That's one. Secondly, you want to be near the president. How many of us really have a chance of meeting and sitting
with the president?
With the president, and not in an avalanche of so many people.
Apart from you.
But no. But I mean, you're seated close. You know, you can even after the meeting just whisper into his ear, and then things will be sorted. So you need to be, if you are a political actor, you have to do all it takes to be in company of the president and as close as it can get.
Let's go for a nut break, and when we return, we shall pick it up. KFM, welcome back. Welcome back from the commercial break. Quite hilarious comments coming through from the commercial break. But the SEC is such a big and vital position, especially in the government, that one, those people's remunerations have been heightened to the level of ministers, but also the fact that you have a chance to rub shoulders with the president anytime you want, anytime. And recently, President Museveni said just to get to him a letter, you have to pay 30 million. Now, I don't know how much you have to pay to see him physically. Now, if you are in the SEC,
we'll be giving the letters to the SEC.
So I think that actually explains the reason behind all this vigor, the fighting and throwing jabs to make sure that you maintain or you try to get into that position, because then the SEC gets to decide most of the
But I think also there's this issue of power. It's not about money. I don't think a person like Basaja Baraba is looking for money. Or Caesar Mulenga. I'm told if it is true that Basaja Baraba took the delegates to Mombasa, and you can imagine if it's true, then that cost of taking the delegates of they must not be few. According to Caesar Mulenga was looking for the delegates, he can't find them in Uganda. So such person is not.
Wait, the delegates have been flown to. Yes, by the way, we had a headline on.
Such a person is not
Wednesday.
looking for money per se, but I think it is the other Marshall's law of needs. It is about self-actualization, to be
power influence,
prestige to be introduced, and people know he sits with the president at the apex of the party.
Jimmy, do you think this NRM, because these are positions? How many positions are they? Are they?
You are the one who was reading.
Yes, I was reading.
But like
12 positions or so. Do you think they really have reason to cause all this fracas and everything that the country has come to a standstill? I go through the Kololo
My friend, I've
road.
just passed Kololo. It's a nightmare.
A nightmare of every kind of poster is there. Hey,
The place looks like
It's
like
yellow.
a movie theater.
it's yellow. Even on the road. On the road, you're driving on posters, people's posters, which are just, I mean, everywhere posters. How can Uganda disabuse itself of such very, in fact, what you'd call small things being taken so highly like that?
By making other sectors of the economy lucrative, not just politics, where people think it's about money. They're not. Most of them are not really even service delivery. It's not serving the people, but how you can get much more. So it's become a kind of investment, expecting so much. But if other sectors of the economy were doing well, maybe people would be
unbothered with politics.
You will not be so much bothered about. That's not to say that not everyone who goes to politics is just about money. Most of these people you can just look at them and.
But again, Wandera, I don't know why you are finding trouble with that. That's the cost of politics, of multi-party politics
and democracy.
You want us to go back to the one movement system?
No, I'm saying for this is what we wanted: competitive, elective politics, and of course those are the vagaries associated with competitive and elective politics. You must try to show through every medium of communication that you're dominating, that you are the giant. That's the cost. The beauty of it, it comes to an end. My view is that I wish the election season, in my view, would be reduced to a few months so that people can have their peace and go back to normal life. But now we're into this one till Feb, so we won't avoid it.
What are you? He just told you that the economy is not working. That is the new economy that we are.
But then, if it's not working, how come people are spending and doing what you're talking?
That's expenditure which we are gaining from. They spend it on us. They give us a few things, T-shirts, caps, and
it's all good.
Our
then.
Christmas is done.
It's all good. Then.
I don't think it's all good, but one of the questions I want to ask you, Dismas, is that I know of a gentleman. I forget his name. Who was vetted and he went through to stand against Alhaj Chigongo. And when I looked on the final list, he's not there. A young man of about 30, but he's very disgruntled that he can't even get in there. Was this ever going to happen? And do we see this position, and probably the one of President Museveni as chairman, being competed against?
There is someone who tried to compete against him.
Yes.
And they said they only printed one form for the
When he went, they were done. They were done.
The forms are done.
They are done. We have served so many, but only one received.
that was the smartest thing to do. Look at how comical Electoral Commission is with these who are picking forms.
188.
No, they are 200 now. 205.
There's one whom I saw who had gone with the commando.
Yes.
So that comedy is not necessary. So I think Tanga was right to surround with the comedian that sought to challenge President.
No, but But I think even those positions, honestly, if there was any iota of democracy within the ruling party, they would allow those positions also. Do you think anyone can come to compete to become the chairman of the NRM caucus, the SEC, and beat Museveni at it? No. But allowing other people to express themselves, I don't think that is any big haste or any big problem. It wasn't made for them. It wasn't, unless it's stipulated in some written document that we have never seen, that Haji Chigongo and Yoweri Museveni are going to be permanent features on the SEC.
Well, but
it can be an unwritten thing.
No, but to allow also comedy is not good. And when we
have a comedy, the entire comedy of the
I don't know what you would call comedy, because this gentleman he's called Agaba Bridge Murokole. The gentleman has moved across the country, and he has wooed the people to his side.
He wooed nobody.
And then you're calling it. I don't think
you have determined.
Do you remember
so
when Okoto Gong tried to even come up?
But even Okoto Gong, him was really doing comedy. I mean, you know the winning giant is Yoweri Museveni. Then why allow some circus of disruptive circus?
No, let's allow it to thrive. Let's allow it for democracy purposes.
And we do it for presidential.
Yes.
Even what is his name?
Johnny.
Katumba.
Did you see Katumba? We allow it for presidency. What about the vice chairman, first vice chairperson, and the chairperson of the party? Why don't we allow them to have competitors?
For purposes of seamless what? Why do you go prepared to go for final battle? Don't go into some circus of what?
So are these positions, do you want to tell us, Obed, that these positions are ring-fenced for those two people?
They are not ring-fenced, but I mean, through consensus building, I think the party feels they should not even allow some disruption.
It's quite clear that there is no consensus.
That's why Nzaire was asked to step down.
Was it polite?
Most likely. There was they must have sensed some disruptions. Like Odwek Rwabugu one time was also told to step down for Matayo Chargonza. So it is about spotting things that can create unnecessary tension.
Matayo Chargonza is not interested in anymore.
No, he's not. I think his head is a little bit not okay.
I interviewed Matayo Chargonza in 2018, and I had a very long interview with him. I feel it's one of my best interviews that I've done with any Bush War general. The man was crude as crude as you can say it.
When he was standing with Odrick, when they were
no. That was after he slapped someone, the traffic officer. Yes, yeah. When he slapped the traffic officer, I went to his home and we had a long time of chat, and you could actually hear that he's unlike Obed, who is trying to tell us that he's fine, he's okay. In that interview, he wasn't okay with anything. But that's a conversation we can have for another day. Gentlemen, I want us to shift gears because before we came here, before we went on air, Obed here was reading for us an order. I don't know whether to call it an order or a counter order from that of President Museveni, but we can get into that when we come back from a quick commercial break. Welcome back from that quick commercial break. My name is Derek Wandera. I have Dismas Nkunda, I have Jimmy Achelam, and I have Obed Katurebe. We are discussing the topical issues of this week. And just before we came on this show, Dismas was reading for us Obed was reading for us a letter that has been written to Mr. Hamis Chigundu, because this week President Museveni, as it's known, ordered that Hamis Chigundu be given the Nachivubo channel for development, and at that he had to develop also his personal development and property and whatever. But because of the grudges and the disagreements that have come from the public domain, but also KCCA, I see my OB, who is the deputy executive director, Benon Chigenyi, they are writing to Haj Dr. Hamis Chigundu, saying and ordering that he holds the development of this KCCA as had been ordered by the president, and we hope that this is going to be implemented. Gentlemen, there's a big fight there. The president has ordered that Chigundu go and develop the Nachivubo channel. Now, KCCA is countering President Museveni's order, of course, using technical terms and technicalities that there are as planners, as the runners of the Kampala City Authority, saying that they had never been consulted at all and stuff like that. There's a lot of politics that's happening. Do you think, Jimmy, this order, this KCCA advice to Hamis Chigundu is going to stand and overrule the one of the president?
Unfortunately, it won't. You know how powerful the president is in this country. Systems don't work. Most times his words are final when he decides on something. The way KCCA is doing is the right approach. You know, you have to follow NEMA, do all these things. But as the president says, you know, there are people who don't, informally, they approach him and listens once, he listens to them and he agrees with them. By the time he writes, he has already agreed, and you know, he thinks that's a good thing to do. You come back, you write with your systems, how systems operate, will overrule you, or just ignore you altogether. That's the unfortunate thing, that systems don't work in the country. The president's word is most times final. They'll go about it whether they decide to go to court and what. I think Obed can explain so much more about the presidency, the power and all that.
I wanted to bring Obed last, but I can give him the mic now.
No. You see, when the president writes, giving a directive, he has taken a position. But that still does not exclude you, the technical people, to evaluate his decision and probably even do an advice, or you must still follow procedures that environmental impact assessment, for example, that the development is in line with the urban planning agenda, that it will not disrupt, say,
the flow of
floods or business and whatever. The president directive still, even if the technical people must follow the rules. The president directive does not mean that you become, you do things. You people study some law. Is it a traverse? I don't know if that's word is the right one. But you must follow within the laws of the land. So Hamisi gets this paper. Now, instead of sitting with KCC and say, this is what I have, I want to do this one, KCC will not overrule the president, but now they're supposed to guide him to do the development that is in line with the city planning program, that is in line with the laws of the land, that even is in harmony with the normal trading regime of Kampala City. But for him, he ran, put on Mabati, disrupted the traffic flow, cordoned off some places, and the whole thing was disruptive. I think what they've done is extremely right.
Okay. It's a good public relations nightmare that the government is falling into. One, what is supposed to be the sequence of things to happen? Is it the president first giving an order? And
then work retrospective.
And then Wandera has to work retrospective and go to the planners to tell him how to do the planning, or it's a consensus sitting and saying, okay, Chigundu, I want to do the following things. Maybe you ask the president. The president sends you to KCCA. Then you sit with the KCCA and you determine the
So they know it's wrong, but then they'll go and put it, if they know that they can always get away with it.
Let me hear Dismas's submission. It's like what we're talking is one and the same. The president, as a fountain of honor, has agreed to a certain development. Then he says, I'm okay with it.
But why do they have to go to him first?
Does the president know about the environmental impact on Kampala? Did he do an assessment?
Did he overrule it?
No,
he was saying, I'm accepting with the idea of the development. And now
where do you go?
So many.
But I mean, he has not stopped those agencies to be part of the development.
But should one go to State House first? To State House first?
It is Hamisi who got excited by the presidential, but anyway, he knows, but he was trying to cut the what? The journey, but for his selfish intentions.
I saw the president's order was more spiritual than it is technical.
He said this is a godly proposal.
No, he is saying this is good, but it does not stop KCCA or Hamis Chugundu to follow the right procedure.
Okay. Yes. Would we be having this discussion? No. If, for example, the right procedures were, you accept the.
No. If Hamis had not done things in an improper way.
Is it the first time that Hamis has been given authority by the president and he goes ahead and executes certain work? Do you remember the map which was giving the planning that was giving the president of Nakivubo?
Yeah.
Did anyone challenge him? Didn't he do it and complete it? So
and you see the effects it has brought.
It has brought.
In terms of flooding, do you know how?
As a football team, CAF came here and they said it can only be a warming up.
A warming up pitch. It's not even fit for hosting any match.
It has its shops.
But again, this must be also being unfair. Even when it's in its original form, land had been eaten up. It was not. It would never
so
ever.
So when you say you are developing it,
no, you are developing it. At least made it standard in its Kavuyo
standard.
It's no longer the other
standard of what?
It's a good
because it cannot be. It cannot host any games.
Makes it fail to pass international standard is because it's built on a small place, congested. But even before Hamisi came in, it was already congested. I remember part of it was a bus park at the entrance. The traders had taken off the behind one. It was burning every weekend. So it had, let me say, it had been forfeited. But at least he put up a nice one. If it is for training, our local matches can go there. But it's better than what was originally there.
Real, have you been there?
Yeah, it's a nice thing, by the way. For me, it's in a congested, it has no breathing.
There are so many technicalities that knocked out the Nachivubo. The fact that there is no ample parking space,
emergency.
The emergency.
It was not there before. It's true.
The fact that there is not access road there.
They weren't there before.
No, they weren't. But then why do you choose the place when you know that all these things are on your name?
What used to be a chaotic market are now organized shop which pay rent to
they are paying one person, not the other.
No, he pays revenue for all those shops to KCC and URA.
Let's go for a quick commercial break, and when we return, we shall pick it from there. Obed. KFM, welcome back from that quick commercial break. We're still with journalists and pundits to discuss very topical issues of the week, and we are still discussing the Nachivubo channel, the redevelopment and the halting that's coming in from the KCCA technical team there. And we're just looking at the advantages and disadvantages. And I want to bring you in this month because we've had an off-air discussion that I felt we need to bring it on air. When you look at the developments that have happened around Nachivubo and that area, and the fact that we have been always told that this development is going to take us to another level of the world level, the standard of, for instance, the Nachivubo football pitch. When it was being created, we were told it's going to be like Emirates Stadium, but when Anfield, but when FIFA officials and CAF officials came here, they said the surface first is not good, there are no access roads, it's a very congested area, no ample parking space, and stuff like that. Why do you think there is a lot of contestation on the development? Don't Ugandans want development, especially when we have to cover up the Nachivubo channel that has been causing a lot of mayhem? I've seen, and we've written so many stories of people drowning in that place.
Well, whether Hamis does it or not, and actually I was having a conversation with one person today who was saying, one of the things that we don't understand and can't be able to manage very well is water. And in particular, we who are in Kampala, which is a swamp. Down here in Lugogo, where there is game, where there is the forest mall, where there is Uma, that used to be a swamp. The swamp is no longer there. In geography, I don't know whether you studied geography.
I did geography, yes.
But in geography, they tell you that the swamp is the filter of all the waters that we use.
Yes.
But we have taken over. We have built all and put their concrete.
True.
So what do you expect? Any small rain that happens in that part of have you seen the flooding that happens in Lugogo?
In Lugogo, yes.
It's just common that we have blocked the way for water to move, and therefore the consequences of that is that. And I don't know what Chigundu wants to build, because at least when he started to build on Nachivubo Stadium, I was hopeful that at last we are going to get something that is more useful. I wish we had given it to UPDF, because at least the engineering brigade of UPDF, we have seen quite clearly what kind of work they can do and what they did in Nambole.
Yes.
In Nambole Stadium, it's one of the most accepted stadiums now on the continent. I saw a South African journalist doing a commentary only on how very beautiful stadium, that he was asking whether some of the matches of South African giant clubs can come and play there. So that's the point. The point is, the Nachivubo didn't come out the way we had all thought. And all of a sudden, like you said, it had no access roads, it had no emergency, it's shops outside. Even I think owners of shops were watching the football match for free and then not paying. And then the inside CAF comes and find that this artificial turf, it is not playable. They said it can only be for warm-up. Now, if a stadium is you invest in a stadium only for warm-up, honestly, were you interested in the stadium or you interested in the shops that you built around that stadium? So it's the same thing, same analogy that we're getting quite now about the what? The channel. The Nachivubo channel has been there long a time. What is needed is to be able to drain that channel, allow it the right movement, and if that movement of the water is done in a certain way, there are no developments that are required. That is a natural flow of water from the various places in Kampala and draining it into Lake Victoria Basin.
I was listening to the Honorable and Engineer Balimwezo when he was analyzing the whole state in which Kampala is. I was saying most of our spaces in Kampala, our surface that is supposed to take water, water is supposed to sink into the soil. Most of our parts in Kampala have been developed with tiles and roads and stuff like that. So the surface, there is a lot of surface run of water. So the water just runs on the surface, and it cannot be sunk anywhere, including on the swamps that you're talking about, including the open places, the open spaces that are supposed to sink the water. They are not there. Now, if you add on the Nachivubo covering the space and in the surface, that means we are going to have even more floods happening. Obed here is telling us that this is something that we need because it is going to develop the city.
No, you didn't get me properly. What I mean, we have professionals who can guide. If there's to be a development, because Ham's argument was, look, this place is open, now it has become an open one. It is true. People throw there, it is always clogging because of this, the dirt, bovera, plastics and whatever. Second, it has also become an incubator for criminals who hide in those dark corners of the channel. If, say, we have people who are professionals in this, Wandera, you are a professional journalist, but we have engineers of high caliber who can advise if that development is be there, how it would be made, so that it does not disrupt the flow of water that passes underneath to Lake Victoria. It can be guided and done so well, but my disagreement with Chugundu is to ignore the technical part, and he doesn't want to be guided, because developments do take place.
Because someone is backing him.
No, it's not backing him. Or don't you want to guide you? When the president agrees something, he does not overrule technical advice. Or
we have honestly, we have seen him backtracking his own decisions when he's advised technically.
Oh yes, that's what I'm saying. Again, he does not. His letter or whatever does not mean that you do things out of the law, and the law that governs development in Kampala City is there defined, and that's why KCC has halted him.
Jimmy, President's word is final in most cases. Now there is this angle of the technical people coming in. Do you think there is any scintilla chance that the president can actually come and backtrack on his own decision that he has made? I have honestly seen the president backtracking on some of his, and he actually comes and said, we made mistakes here. We can actually rethink. Do you think this is something that Ugandans can have hope in?
Jimmy wants to rethink.
Only if systems were working well and not one man deciding, too powerful, literally it decides everything that, from, it's just too powerful. If you're lucky, it's really, but most times, as you said, I think on very rare occasions that he backtracks. Most times he wants to show you that he's the one in charge, he knows what he does, and systems don't work. It's one man who decides. It's a governance issue.
But there is one thing Odochi doesn't know, President Museveni. In fact, some of those who know him better, he's too consultative. He's too consultative. Every decision he makes, that's why quite often the Attorney General is in the State House on a daily. He wants to ask, what does the law say on this one? He's an extremely consultative person. So if say he's advised by the technical people, and of course clearly speculating maybe the dangers, the pros and cons of whatever project he's rooting for.
Until you have a Mabira-like situation where people fight and
let me give you one example. The reason probably we took long to get that oil out of the Arbatine region. These dismasses in Kudas and in their civil society movement created a lot of pressure, and the government had to agree to go by the standards of the global environmental impact assessment until those were made and approved by the group. Yeah, no. But you are part of that noise, eh? But he had to make sure that every involvement there is in agreement with the global standards of environmental impact assessment. And that's why probably even all the petitions against ECOP and whatever have not been successful. It's because government listened to the professionals, and everything was done according to the international standards of oil drilling. So that's one of the reasons it's delayed.
Gentlemen, I want to to hold on this conversation because we can talk until the chicken return, even the cows. But I want to use this 1 minute to 2 minutes to actually look at the match tomorrow of Uganda Cranes. Kenya has been eliminated from this, and we were hoping that
the match were winning.
What Kenya? Kenya, they went into penalties?
Yeah, Kenya has been eliminated on penalties, and Uganda is playing tomorrow. What's the hope? And we are playing a very, very significantly big team, and that is Senegal.
Defending
Senegal is a giant. They are the defenders. But my prediction is that we'll beat them. We tend to get scared by the brown colors of the Arab Maghreb states. But these ones are like us, so our boys will be having a lot of confidence. And they will defend ferociously, and we shall have one, and then we celebrate celebrations.
So you will get like what we got the other
last
day, you
time,
get 2 penalties for free.
Yeah, God loves us.
Jimmy, what do you think?
Just hoping the best for the country. I think Uganda will win, and will do it for the East African region, since Kenya is already out. So
yes,
Tanzania win.
The Taifa Stars are also going to play on Sunday for their quarterfinals, and we had hoped that the 3 teams go through to the semi-finals. That means we would have certainly a derby, but we are also seeing if Uganda Cranes and Taifa Stars go through, they will certainly be maybe a derby. We don't see a derby coming at the finals. But for me, I feel Uganda has a very big chance, given the home ground, the aura that it comes with, and stuff like that. I feel we are going to fight to that last minute, but Senegal is not something that you can take lightly. I've received avalanche of messages here appreciating all of us for the discussions we have given and the in-depth analysis that we have given. Only that they are thinking that Obed is lying to us too much about Nachivubo Chano. But
Obed has to do PR.
It's not about PR for sure. It's about what exactly is done. See, every problems are made. Even if you go to China, they build it anywhere. But when you look at the standard, how they do things, you realize they follow the procedures of the professional people. They build everywhere, they build over water, but they are guided by standard. If you can follow that one, there's nothing. If you can